It's Henry Bullen that starts in goal. Back four is Jake Glossop, Samuel Lutzolo Augusto, captain Takudza Gwanzura and Maxwell Adedeji. Jeremiah Sinclair Brown and Reese Wilkes, we believe, will sit in midfield. Ahead of them, Ruben Brian Cooper, Hugo Collins and Khalil Ari Steele support the striker Joseph Keeper. A few changes there from last time out for Norwich, but as we say, they arrive in decent form and they'll fancy themselves on home turf. Substitutes today for Norwich City: Emmanuel Hokpiabele, Harry Derbyshire-Kame, Finlay Oligbo, Jack Duffy and Luke Chukwu. For Palace, a real feel-good factor around the academy right now, and why shouldn't there be? But there's a lot of time in some of those legs. So after 120 minutes in midweek, there's heavy rotation in the squad with 9 changes. And a big name between the sticks. Thiago Speroni makes his competitive debut in goal. Jacob Fasida in the squad, as is Dylan Monk, Rami Ahazi Shitu and Hugo Bol. Seb Bonsu, Amarco, Daniel Owade in the squad, alongside Caden Michael Moses. Across the front line, there's Dante Martin, Milo Bernard back from international duty. And Fraser Williams in the squad, Kean Fraser Williams making up the numbers too. On the bench, Okoli, Lamidi, the McDonald, Lee and Graves. Later than we expected. We can bring you up to speed with a couple of scores elsewhere as they kick off in Norfolk. Already mentioned that game, Brighton facing Birmingham. It's currently Birmingham 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Result there for Birmingham City, a win for Birmingham City, and a win here for Palace would see them leapfrog Brighton in the table. It's Arsenal 2, West Ham United 2. That was at half-time, and goalless between Newcastle and Wolves in Under-18 Premier League. Chelsea, the league leaders, currently drawing with Ipswich Town at the moment, and West Brom goalless with Fulham, both of those two games in the early stages. There's Bullen, the goalkeeper, out towards this near side. Good closing down by Owade. Glossop shuffles that back to Henry Bullen. He's one of the experienced names in this under-18 side. He's played a lot of football with the Norwich under-21s this year and has travelled frequently with the senior team, helped them train. Opportunity getting forward though for Norwich City. Into the penalty area, but body's in the way for Palace. The initial break came from Joseph Keeper as Palace had a high line there. And Palace tried to respond with a counter-attack of their own. Dante Martin not given enough space down that left-hand side. And comes the throw. Want to chase down the left-hand side, but a little bit too much on the pass. And that'll trundle over the byline. 19-year-old Henry Bullen in the orange today for Norwich City, making his fourth Premier League under-18 appearance this season. He's conceded 7 goals in the process, looking to pick up his first clean sheet of the season. To Thiago Speroni here. Ahazi Shitu forward. Ball played with pace and a difficult one to handle. It's in bump from Adedeji. Ball with the header to it. Picked up in midfield by Fasida, wearing the number 8. Now here's Monk. Laid off by by Martin. Bit of space here for Michael Moses. Facida breaking things up on halfway, but Palace once again unable to keep it. Augusto across to his centre-back partner here. Adedeji trying to get forward into midfield for Steele. Once again picked up by Caden Michael Moses, and the referee will put it back for a little foul. And Facida wasting little time getting the ball moving again for Palace. Speroni's been with the club for such a long time now, joined under 9s level. I'll recognise his name, of course. It comes with quite a caveat at the club, quite a cachet of a reputation. Building his own career here, young Thiago, and all reports from the academy as he's a wonderfully talented goalkeeper. Stepping in today for Luca Benetton, who pulled off those penalty heroics in midweek at Selhurst Park. A few of those players really earned themselves a rest. Palace on the back foot a little bit here. Space in the penalty area and a first save from Speroni, who came out to spread himself. Back into the box, stabbed away. And they'll keep the ball moving. Crystal Palace did well under the first real bit of pressure there, as Martin tries to apply the pressure to Lorenzo Augusto. Ball on that right hand side for Hugo Collins. Neat and tidy first touch near that centre circle. Wilkes. Adedeji finds Khalil Steele. Little turn of pace down that left hand side. No foul, says the referee. He's been even handed with his decision making there though. Back with Adedeji. Now Wilkes. Speared across to Collins on that right hand side. Ruben Cooper. Augusto spreads the play back out to this left flank, where Max Adedeji keeps the ball moving for Norwich City. Kwanzura looked for the big switch of play. There's Ruben Cooper. Augusto. Adedeji here. Alongside him. Collins tried to feed it through. Good. A reading of the play by Hazi Shitu. Palace can clear their lines. And Samuel Augusto forced back to his goalkeeper Henry Bullen. Number 6, Norwich City, Jeremiah Sinclair Brown. Signed professional terms with the club back in the early part of last year. Always sits as that tactical anchor in the middle of the park for Norwich. You can see him just joining the centre-backs there as the Finnish youth international Adedeji switches it out towards the right-hand side. It was good work from Dylan Monk to get in the way, but how about this? Thiago Speroni just stood up really well. The chance opened up for Sinclair Brown, it was there in the middle. First real attack of note so far this afternoon in Norfolk. Corner kick taken short, drilled in towards the near post, slightly untidy initially. And then they can eventually get it clear. It's all the way through to Henry Bullen. They've had a strong start, Norwich. And that has been reflected in their recent form. Palace, as we already mentioned, won the reverse of this game. Goals from Dante Martin, Charlie Walker-Smith, Jasper Judd and David Angibo gave them a 4-2 win at Beckenham. Norwich's results have significantly improved since that point. Palace's last action in the Under-18 Premier League 3-1 win away against Southampton. Walker-Smith double added to by David Angibo late on. Convincing win for Javier Alonso's side. After Corbin McMullen had opened the scoring in the first half, a second half turnaround. There is the boss passing on the instructions from the sidelines.
Good, love that, Sammy. Love that detail.
Long ball from Speroni. Up towards keeper. Nice turn. And maybe a Palace chance here. Bullen with a touch to it, and it's scooped off the line by Gwanzura. It was Dante Martin who battled himself into that shooting position. I have to give credit to the goalkeeper though, Bullen, who took the sting off of it. Just wrestling with Augusto was Dante Martin. And the little flick off the gloves of Bullen just took enough off the ball to allow Gwanzura to hook that from off the line. Biggest chance of the game. There's Marlo Bernard recycling the ball for Palace. Back out to that left-hand side for Dylan Monk, who was trying to recover that. I think in doing so, he's just conceded the free kick. First real set piece. These two sides. There was a corner earlier on, but this is the first dangerous attacking free kick, you would say. And they're setting their line up on the edge of the 18-yard box. Slip down the right-hand side, and it's well read by Bernard. Hugo Bull. It's the praise from the Palace coaches on the bench for calm work under a little bit of pressure on the edge of the 18-yard box. Palace unable to keep it inside the Norwich half of the pitch. Norwich back with Samuel Augusto. Bullen. Long looking for his centre forward keeper, and it was strong play from Hugo Bull. Reece Wilkes in the middle of the park. Adedeji. Owade not giving him any time and space on the ball.
If we need 5-for-1, is Milo here. Get that you there. ready, 5-4-1 if we need, yes? Time to see if the Maxi bombs on, then a dive's on. Think about your job, Hugo! Good ball!
Palace in behind here. An opportunity for Dante Martin, and this time Bullen can do little about it. He had one sniff not long ago, and this time one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Just tucks it past Bullen. Cool as you like to give Palace the lead. All came from a punt downfield. Norwich were looking for the flag, which never came. Martin just curled his run perfectly from that left-hand side. And a clearance from Remy Ahazi-Shitu has turned in to a quite brilliant assist for Dante Martin. It's Norwich 1, Norwich 0, Crystal Palace 1. Had all the time in the world. Sometimes these are the most difficult chances where you've got time to think about it. Bullen tried to spread himself, but Martin made no mistake. Now another chance. Both Martin and Bernard trying to get amongst the Norwich defenders. It's the 9th goal of the season for Martin. And one very well taken. 15 minutes gone at the Avant Training Centre. And Palace with the lead. He's Steele. Left the ball behind him.
No, I want you stretching, Joseph, every time. Every time, Joseph.
He's the man that set him free. Ahazi-Shitu, who's going to... Well, that into Hugo Ball was on the end of a really physical challenge there.
Come on, come on.
Joseph Keeper, big number 9, just went into the Palace defender. So a long ball forward. This time Milo Bernard sniffing around it. Will end up in the gloves of Bullen, and Norwich trying to get it forward quickly. Long, but too long the diagonal from Dylan Monk. Came on in extra time of that Premier League Cup win at Selhurst Park in midweek. Well, given the responsibility of a start. Playing in that back three today, he is on paper a centre-back, but has the versatility to really play across that back line. It's one of the features of this Palace team. So many can adapt to different positions. It's like Jacob Facida in the number 8 in midfield. He's played across the Palace back line as well. They're really developing as a player. Started to play up the age groups over the past couple of years, and now has become such a crucial part of this under-18 side under Javier Alonso. He's got a wand of a left foot as well, I can tell you that. Adedeji. Finds Hugo Collins with Maxwell Adedeji. Bonsu Marco can't get on the ball. Norwich with it on the edge of their penalty area. Cooper. It's around the corner. Palace hunting in packs though. And Norwich finding it difficult to create any space at the moment. Left-footed ball swung in from that far side. It's Monk with the header. That's behind for another Norwich corner. Well, they've had their moments, Norwich. Little pockets of space in wide areas mainly. But for the best part so far, Palace have been up to the challenge of everything they've thrown at them. That one's taken short. But again, combination of Monk and a bull in the way. And he's done well again. Dylan Monk, just to make sure that keeper wasn't left alone with it. Long from Bullen. Adedeji finds Steele. Wilkes. To the big switch of play out to the far side. Drops here to Caden Michael Moses. Needs support, we'll find it. Arlo Bernard trying to link up with Dante Martin there. It's unfortunate for Daniel Ouare, who just clipped the heels of Maxwell Adedeji. You could see here it was just bouncing away from the Norwich fullback. Just caught the trailing leg with the Palace defender. Four in the attack for Norwich City. On that far side was Reece Wilkes. Yet another corner for Norwich. They've been racking them up, but haven't made the most of these set pieces. The young Canaries. And elsewhere, Brighton still trail Birmingham City by a 1-0. It's one apiece between Villa and Spurs. Chelsea have taken a 2-goal lead over Ipswich Town. And West Brom now lead Fulham by a 1-0. All hung towards the back post, and Norwich will do well to make the most of this. You see it in unison, the Palace coaches all appealing for the throw-in. Their wish granted by the assistant referee on this near side. I'll try and keep you abreast of all those score lines from across the under-18 Premier League. Chelsea top of the South Division, 61 points as things stand, I might add. Started the day with 58. Tottenham in second on 50. West Brom are now 2 goals up against Fulham. And then in 4th and 5th. Palace on 38, Brighton on 42, but as things stand, they'd be level on points. Palace with a better goal difference, as that's a challenge from Adedeji that won't be overlooked by the referee. Apologies, it was actually Kali Ari Steele with the foul. This is what Owade was threatening to do earlier on. She's got that wrong, Steele. You could hear Javier Alonso maybe with a little suggestion to the referee that that might deserve a booking, which I think can escape for the moment. It'll just be a stern word to the young man from the referee. It's a good opportunity for Palace to test Norwich's defending from this sort of set piece. Here's Owade. It's deep towards the back post. Palace unable to hold on to it in the Norwich penalty area. And here come the Canaries streaking forward. It was Jacob Facida back, tidying things up for Palace. Adedeji with the diagonal. Unorthodox clearance from Dylan Monk, but he'll do the job. The side have the lead, but you can see that the manager wants a little bit more from the young Palace team. Milo Bernard is going to break through, and maybe a chance for a second. Bernard fluffs his lines in a really good position. The chance was there for the taking, just got underneath the effort. Comes from a throw-in down this right-hand side. And a lovely flick on from Dante Martin, linking up with his strike partner. Milo Bernard just too strong there for Samuel Augusto. But when the moment came, he couldn't keep the effort down. So most of the chances have come for Palace. The pace and power of the Palace front two just bursting through the Norwich back line. Probably should be two in front now. Kwanzura across to Augusto. Back by Glossop. One floated towards Adedeji. But there was Bonsu Amarco in the middle. Clipped out towards the right-hand side. Norwich trying to create another chance here. Getting back Caden. Michael Moses pitching in defensively. Footed ball towards the near post. Is flicked away by Hugo Bull. The balance of play, you'd say Norwich City have had the bulk of the ball. And bar one Thiago Speroni save, you haven't really seen them create too much with it though. All that is down to the men in front of him. As Monk slips it to his left. There's Martin making a nuisance of himself again. There's sort of Augusto's instep. Thrown on the far side. Keon Fraser-Williams ready to take it. Referee, a little bit of housekeeping out there on the far side. There are two balls on the pitch momentarily. Michael Moses wins the corner kick. Across goes the 17-year-old Awade. The fittest players in this under-18 side. He is the modern fullback. Driving down the right-hand side with the overlapping runs. He's going to take the set piece as well here. Right into the 6-yard box, and a decent chance there for Dylan Monk. Took a flick off a Norwich player on the way out of play as well, so Palace will have another corner. And there was Monk. Just flicked off the back of the head of Maxwell Adedeji. It's Keon Fraser-Williams who's scooped the ball off the touchline. Here in the 30th minute. It's the in-swinger, left-footed towards the near post, a low one, which is drilled away from the 6-yard line. Sharp from Awade. They won themselves a throw-in as well, Palace. Had the assistance of Seba Bonsua Marco there. Prodded away from Fasida. Miyahazi Shitu is going to launch this back into the playing area. Drops it to Bull. Back to Tiago Speroni. Fasida. He does have a hold head on young shoulders. Jacob Fasida in the heart of that Palace midfield. You see that calm and composed touch as he found the space for himself. And Palace at the moment winning the battle of territory. Ball with the switch out to Keon Fraser-Williams. Monk. Put a bit more time for Fraser-Williams to the path of Dante Martin. It's Augusto coming across to clear the danger for Norwich. Hazi Shitu towards Caden Michael Moses. Last touch off the Palace number 10. Bull. And Caden Michael Moses, I think he spotted Bullen off of his line there. Didn't quite get the trajectory right. Would have been a spectacular goal if he did. Have a little look at this. He's got his head up there. You can see. Only he will know whether that's a pass towards his strikers or an attempt from a long, long way out. But he wouldn't put it past him. Good work initially from Gwanzura, just to shrug off a few Palace challenges. The pass was lacking the quality required. It's Tiago Speroni who can scoop it up, and Palace moving again. Bodgers won't settle for the Eagles in midfield though. Hugo Collins. Gwanzura. Big old switch from left to right. Sinclair Brown. Adedeji. Steele. Drops the shoulder, finds a bit of space past Owade. Flicked away by Bull. Here's Gwanzura. Now Sinclair Brown. Having to work hard defensively at the moment, Palace. Owade needs to be careful. And across came Remy Ahazi Shetu. And it will be another Norwich free kick. Just struggling a little bit there, Daniel Owade, with the trickery from Khalil Steele. I think his centre-back recognised that, Ahazi Shetu. Let's try to offer some assistance. In fact, it's going to be a Palace. A free kick. Monk showing good strength here. Good quality too. Martin. Chance for Caden Michael Moses. If he can extricate himself from the clutches of Reece Wilkes. Finds Abonsu Amako. Little reset near halfway for Cedar. Really good strength from Jacob Facida to the edge of the penalty area. Might open up for him here. Tries to dink it into the penalty area. Dante Martin had made the run. He was away by Augusto and then Adedeji. He's been put under pressure down this right-hand side. Owade unable to get a toe to it. How about this from Jacob Facida? There you see him. No, you don't. Just wrestles out of that little sandwich of two Norwich midfielders, then chops back onto his left. You could just see Martin peeling off his man there. It was a cute idea from Jacob Facida. He really wouldn't have blamed him for going for goal himself in that sort of position. Offered into the penalty area. A difficult chance that for Steele. Stretching to try and get his head on it. Just got caught under the flight a little. The Norwich number 11. Steele picks it up here for Norwich. Palace scrambling to get bodies back. And the flag goes up. To deny Joseph keeper. Number 9 on his back. Not just his squad number, it's the way he goes about his football as well. Very traditional sort of number 9. He's been plenty of plaudits within the Norwich City Academy setup for his ability with his back to goal. And you've seen that a few times already this afternoon. Here's Fasida. To Ahazi Shitu. There's Monk. Well, the referee gave it Palace's way, the assistant the other. It's nice to see they don't take themselves too seriously. It's all the funny side there, the referee. He's Adedeji. Collins trying to poke it through to Joseph Kipper. And you can see the flag go up on the far side. The referee initially gave that as a Norwich City free kick, but then he's just spotted the assistant. Saw that Kipper was just a step or so beyond the last man. We're into the last few minutes of this first half now. And Palace will be relatively pleased with how things have gone for them so far. I feel much more comfortable if Milo Bernard had tucked home that chance a little bit earlier on. This is where the game so far has been won for them in midfield, and that's lovely neat footwork by Jacob Fasida, still bursting forward to the edge of the penalty area. Owade. Maxwell Adedeji too strong for him. And the referee just spotted a couple of those tugs and pulls from the Palace defender. Which means Norwich will have the free kick in the defensive third. Bit sliced away by Hugo Bull, but Palace get the decision anyway. And Rumi Ahazi Shitu will wander down this touchline to take the throw. Here's Kyan Fraser-Williams. A touch off a Norwich defender as that flew over the byline. So a late corner here in the first half. Palace have made good use of this so far. A chance earlier for Dylan Monk, you might remember. You can see Monk and Hugo Bull joining Remi Ahazi Shitu in that walk up into the Norwich penalty area. It's going to be Fraser Williams to take on the far side. This one will be an outswinger. A little queue of Palace shirts on the edge of the penalty area. And Fraser Williams right into the heart of that 18-yard box. Referee spots an infringement and we'll pull it back for a Norwich throw-in as we move into the final minutes of this first half. Bullen with a quick clearance. Ruben Cooper unable to get it under his spell. Something that Caden Michael Moses has no problem with. Here's Monk. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. And he came back from an offside position, did Milo Bernard. A check of the watch from the referee. On down the right-hand side by Bullen. Monk straight through the middle. Here is Bernard. Ade. Past Adedeji. Across the goalkeeper. And close to a second for Palace. Fast break here. All set up by strong work from Milo Bernard in the middle. He's done the right thing there, Daniel. Ade tried to find the opposite bottom corner. Dante Martin as well on that far side, looking to latch onto a rebound. Well, that's half-time, and so far so good for Javier Alonso's Palace under-18 side. Norwich started the brighter of the two teams. Thiago Speroni drawn into an early save, but a long ball forward from Remy Ahazi-Shitu opened up the Norwich back line. Dante Martin with a composed finish. Could have been better as well. Milo Bernard had a chance of his own, and then that effort late on from the Palace defender Daniel Ade. Tight at the break, but it's Palace who lead. At half-time, it's Norwich City 0, Crystal Palace 1. Chelsea still lead Ipswich by 2 goals. That one's at half-time. It's Villa 1, Tottenham 1. Manchester City 2, Middlesbrough 0. And West Brom leading by 3 goals to 0 over Fulham now. And a later kick-off. Sunderland 2, Manchester United 1. And Thiago Speroni immediately called into action as they get back underway. And Norwich will be looking to capitalise on what they saw as a strong start, you would say, to that first half. As we mentioned, Palace with the better chances, you would argue. Norwich with more consistent possession, as that's a little bit untidy from Remy Ahazi-Shitu, and a free kick for Norwich.
Before, push up, and after you can win it.
And some kind advice from Javier Alonso on the touchline. His steal, he's looked lively for Norwich, into the penalty area. That's cut out by Fasida. Speroni unable to pick it up. Fasida tried to clear. And then there's the equaliser. A quick start from Norwich City. And it was Ruben Cooper. Palace just caught napping a little bit at the start of this second half. Khalil Steele has caused Daniel Ade a couple of problems down that left-hand side. Jacob Fasida stepping in, looked like he might have tidied things up, and the ball came back across from Hugo Collins. And it was a pretty simple chance in the end for Ruben Cooper's 4th of the season. And they'll be a bit disappointed in the way they've conceded that one, Palace. After such a strong defensive performance in the opening 45. It's a slightly sluggish start to this second period, and they've paid the ultimate price. Still plenty in the tank to retake control of the game, especially considering the form and performance levels of that front two, Martin and Bernard. Palace already trying to create opportunities. Maybe a bit too overzealous in their attempt. Kyan Fraser-Williams penalised with a tug back on the defender. No changes at half-time that we can see. So still Thiago Speroni in goal for Palace, a back three of Monk, Bull and Ahazi Shitu. And Fraser-Williams and Daniel Owade, the wing-backs. For Cedar, Ponce and Marco inside. Caden Michael Moses slightly further forward with Dante Martin and Milo Bernard, that attacking pairing. For Norwich, Henry Bullen in goal. Glossop, Adedeji, Augusto and Gwanzura the back four. Sinclair Brown in midfield. He's the engine room really for Norwich City, alongside the goal scorer Cooper, Reece Wilkes, Collins and Steele trying to offer support to Joseph Keeper, their big number 9. Well, food for thought for the boss, pacing around in his technical area just in front of us there. This is a good chance to maybe launch one into the 18-yard box. Dylan Monk with a big run-up. Instead it's into Kyan Fraser-Williams. Will get his cross away. Lifted away by Samuel Augusto. Facida knocks it back into Norwich territory. That's sharp from Monk. Ahazi Shitu. To Owade. Bernard. Finds Caden Michael Moses. Maybe an opportunity here. Cut away at the near post by Samuel Augusto. And a foul as the ball bounced away, but it's a sharp work again from Daniel Owade. But for the presence of Samuel Augusto, might have been a tap-in for Dante Martin's second of the game. Well, Monk reacted quickest. Here comes Gwanzura for Norwich. It's laid off by Steele. Chases after the return pass. Speroni comes sprawling. To feel for him a little. He's not had too much to do today, Thiago Speroni. One good save in that first half stands out. It's a competitive debut for the under-18s this afternoon. Here's Cooper to Collins. Swung in there. Steele was arriving. Away by Monk. Now Adedeji.
Around on a striker, no pivot. Well done.
I don't need to tell you, it's a Palace goal kick. Played short to Ahazi Shitu, who was caught late there. There's Khalil Steele again. Monk. Now Kyan Fraser-Williams. Held up by Martin. Against Augusto for the throw-in. Well, I heard a word of warning from the coaches alongside us here that pitch is a little bit bobbly underfoot. We've seen it a couple of times, especially in the second half. Thiago Speroni's lost his footing a few times just outside his penalty area. Something that Palace could make advantage of. So Bonsu Amako on that far side, applying the pressure, forcing the mistake. Palace with the throw in again. Feels like you say the same thing every single week at the club at the moment, but it's another big week for Palace, not just the under-18s, but the senior team as well, on their travels at Anfield later on this afternoon, hoping to beat Liverpool for, yes, the 4th time this season. And then I'm sure a number of you watching on this afternoon will be making the trip across to Poland in midweek. I'll be there. I hope you are too. For a historic European semi-final. Here's Dante Martin on the edge of the penalty area. Just couldn't put it either side of Henry Bullen. The Conference League campaign will be a real encouragement to these under-18s players. I mentioned at the start of today's broadcast that a few players have seen that pathway open up from under-18s to first-team football. The number of players required for competing on so many fronts means that the likes of Benji Casey and Joel Drakes-Thomas have seen action for the first team, but not just in the Europa Conference League, in the Premier League as well. Drakes-Thomas involved at Ellen Road earlier this season. Martin tries to switch the play out to Owade. Has to scamper backwards, but Palace will keep it. Bull across to Kyan Fraser-Williams. Monk. That's nice footwork. Pull down the right-hand side for Owade. Dispossessed here. And now Steele. The referees are going to pull it back. I'll offer our apologies if any of the slightly unsavoury language is filtering through this afternoon. These two sets of players very passionate about their sport, their football. In this lunchtime in Norfolk. They don't have the luxury of a crowd of 26,000 at Selhurst Park to muffle their cries of frustration. Throwing one on the far side, Caden Michael Moses it was, who drew the touch off the Norwich defender out there. That's into Fasida. It's good shepherding play in there by Bonsu Amako. Couldn't find a teammate, but Norwich chasing shadows a little bit here. It's hooked forward by Dylan Monk. Khalil Steele. Sliding in went Remy Ahazi-Shitu. Norwich not happy with the challenge, but it looked fair and clean to me. There's Dante Martin. Poked out to this left-hand side. Milo Bernard found it himself in a decent position, and there's going to be a yellow card. Produced by the referee. And the Norwich City coaches just explaining to Ruben Cooper why he's been shown the yellow card. You can probably hear him for a good few seconds there, remonstrating, shall we say, with the referee. And it's earned him a yellow card, the Norwich City goal scorer. Aston Villa have taken the lead against Tottenham Hotspur elsewhere in the Premier League Under 18 South. West Brom leading by 3 goals to 0. Brighton's point earlier on this afternoon has pushed them up to 3rd. As Palace make a change here. Looks like Daniel Awade has gone off to be replaced by Jean Greaves. You can hear the tactical adjustments being passed on by the manager. Maybe a slight change of shape here. You could see a more conventional back 4 now for Palace. Of course, very flexible, adaptable, these players. I'm so accustomed to playing a number of different formations and positions. There's Monk. Cushion back to Thiago Speroni. For Hugo Bull down that right-hand side. And Graves with an opportunity. Trying to take it on himself with Bernard well placed. It's a strong save from Bullen, but one that you'd expect him to make. It's a simple give and go, really, with Dante Martin, and it opened up for Graves. It was intelligent movement from Milo Bernard just to almost hold his run near the penalty spot. And if Jean Graves had got his head up, might have seen him there. Chance for a long throw for Palace. In by Monk towards the near post, aimed at Remy Ahazi-Shitu. Norwich have a player down. They wanted to get the ball moving forward quickly. Looks like a problem maybe for Hugo Collins there. There's a change now for Norwich City. As off goes big number 9, Joseph Keeper. And it looks like it's going to be Luke Chukwu on in his place, with number 16 on his back. Different profile, a bit quicker. He'll play through the middle, but he's often deployed as a winger, Chukwu. Let's get the free kick for the foul on Dylan Monk here on the near side. Bull.
Make sure you two are ready.
How's his Shitu?
Make sure you two are ready.
Oh, it's given away, and here comes Steele. Took it on from range. That's against Hugo Bull, who drives forward with it and finds an outlet ball towards the right-hand side. Back with Bull. Now here's Kyan Fraser-Williams. Facida near the byline with the cutback. Norwich with bodies in the way. It was Takudzwa Gwanzura with the final touch. That'll be a corner kick for Crystal Palace. Jeremiah Lee Sinclair Brown getting back as well for the Canaries. So Kyan Fraser-Williams has this corner kick. High ball towards the back post. Stretching was Maxwell Adedeji. Swung back in there by Milo Bernard. Hugo Bullard stayed up. Flicked away by Augusto. Fraser-Williams across the face of goal, and not a bad opportunity. Flying in, Graves on that right-hand side. Unable to keep his header down. But he's put a lot of energy already. The Palace number 17 since coming on. And has made an impact.
Stop, please, ref. Khalil, cross up if you come. Come halfway. Okay. Hugo.
Well, two changes here. As off go Jake Glossop and Khalil Steele. And they're going to be replaced by Jack Duffy and Finlay Oligbo. I think the Palace defence will be pleased to see the back of Khalil Steele. It was his work on that left-hand side initially that caused some of the chaos that led to the Norwich equaliser. It's away by Bullen. And Norwich with the throw in inside their own half of the pitch, out on that left-hand side. It was Duffy with the layoff. That's off Ruben Cooper's back. Here comes Kyan Fraser-Williams, just outnumbered. A little bit out-muscled as well in the end. Long from Gwanzura. Flicked off of Ruben Cooper, but Dylan Monk made sure of it.
Come on.
Comes the long throw. And Hugo Bull nods it behind for a Canaries corner. There have been too many chances for Norwich in this second half, other than the equaliser. Palace won't want to regret not taking a few of those opportunities from the first half. high ball towards the back post. And one little sail straight out of play for a Palace goal kick. Half decent first touch by that linesman on one of the adjoining pitches. Should I say assistant referee?
Remy, you're now marking. Corners, marking.
The Palace change now. And that number 12 shirt being worn by a player well known by so many followers of the Palace under-18 side. Chuck Sokoli coming on, takes the captain's armband in the process as well. And places Jacob Facida. A player with a penchant for a screamer. And a cool head. In a match that they still have designs of winning, and here is Milo Bernard. He's one that could certainly help them to do so. Martin with the chance, chops back. Graves made the most of the contact with Gwanzura. A couple of bodies down in the penalty area. It was Dante Martin initially. That one looked the more suspect challenge, I have to say. Just here, Gwanzura from behind. You can see Martin hobbling away from the contact initially. And then Gwanzura with the second challenge on Graves. Tough one for the referee. Body's moving in front of him. And to be fair to Dante Martin, didn't really make the much of the contact. No appeals from the Palace centre forward. I mean, the Palace medical team and the Norwich one are out as well to try and patch up the two players down. Opportunity for these sets of players to come across to the touchline, just to take on some fluids and some tactics. And a little pause in the game as well. It's given us a perfect opportunity to bring you back up to speed. This was how Palace took the lead in the first half. Remy Ahazi-Shitu with a long ball forward. Dante Martin with a lot of space and a cool, composed finish to tuck it past Henry Bullen. And then in the first minute after the break, this is how the equaliser came about from Norwich. Jacob Facida thought he tidied things up, only to give it to Hugo Collins, and it was Ruben Cooper to draw the Canaries level with a close range finish. So one apiece with 20 minutes or so left to play at the Avant Training Centre. A warm day. And both players now hydrated after that break. Looks like they're going to make a change in the aftermath of that. A little knock on Takudzwa Gwanzura. So on jogs Emmanuel Okpiabele. There'll be a straight swap at centre back. You see he's a bit of a unit. Real imposing presence alongside Samuel Augusto. That's long by Bullen. Okoli. Martin. Milo Bernard did well to juggle that. And across came Samuel Augusto. Jack Trundle's had a play on the far side for the Palace throw-in. Hazi Shitu
Come on, Bullen!
clipped it towards the penalty area, and Henry Bullen's going to take control of the situation. There's Ruben Cooper. Ball into the box. And there were plenty of yellow shirts flinging themselves towards it. It was initially Duffy there who couldn't make contact. And then his fellow substitute, Luke Chukwu, unable to tuck it home at the far post. Important touch from Jean-Ray Greaves means that'll be a Norwich corner. More pressing concern for Palace is a little knock to Remy Hazi Shitu, who has stayed down. He's back on his feet and he's going to have to mark up here. High ball to the back post, and that's nodded home. And Norwich have turned it around. It's Maxwell Adedeji who's left with a free header. And nods into an open goal. Just lost his man there. Maxwell Adedeji. Speroni also caught under the flight of the ball. And now Palace trail in a game in which they led, and for a while you might have said they led comfortably. Decent delivery as well from Finlay and Ligbo. The ball was under pressure, but coped with it. Ruben Cooper sliding in, forces the touch off the Palace defender for the throw-in. A test of character now for this young Palace side, relatively inexperienced as well compared to the team that started at Selhurst Park on Wednesday. They show a little bit of spirit here and fight. Cooper towards that back post. There's Greaves. Away by Milo Bernard. Sinclair Brown in the middle. Augusto. One in the air by Monk. And last touch off of Samuel Augusto. It's tidy from Jack Duffy in the middle. Well, they can break away again, Norwich City. Cooper to Sinclair Brown, low across the face. Really fired at Jack Duffy, who couldn't adjust in time, and that one's over the crossbar. The overload on the right-hand side. And Kyan Fraser-Williams struggling to cope with both of them. It was the pace, really, that prevented Jack Duffy from keeping his shot down. And Palace preparing another change. Two of them, in fact. That's Jaden McDonald down there with the number 15 shirt on. Well, I stand corrected. 3 changes. All 3 changes will be coming on shortly. Dotun Lamidi, Jaden McDonald and Jamar Lee all preparing themselves to enter the fray. Graves felt he was caught. Referee disagrees. Here come Norwich again, and the pass is overhit. Here come those 3 changes. Looks like a couple of attacking changes here as off goes Caden Michael Moses. And Remy Ahazi Shitu is unable to shake off the effects of that little knock he picked up earlier, so he'll go off as well, as will Milo Bernard, who, as we mentioned, he's only recently got back from international duty. And thrown straight into the mix after winning the Vertex Cup in Miami with the England under-16s. 3 changes there along the bottom of your screen, hoping to dig Palace out of a bit of a hole here. And right into the thick of it there, Jaden McDonald. Chukwu out there on the left-hand side, trying to make progress for Norwich. There's Cooper. Kyle Fraser Williams with his eyes fixed on the ball. Got his cross away, Cooper. Monk will clear. Well, there's a bit of space down this right-hand side again for Norwich City. Stooping header at the near post, an awkward one for Monk. Ball came in from Finlay Oligbo. Jeremiah Sinclair Brown in the heart of the Norwich midfield. Another switch out to the right for Cooper, moving the ball quicker now, Norwich. Recognising some maybe tiring legs in the Palace ranks. And Speroni. Bowled out to Graves. Down the right for Martin. Disappointed in the assistant referee's decision there to give Norwich the throw-in. Been battling for every ball, Dante Martin. We felt the last touch came off of Adedeji. Thiago Speroni. Monk. Wants to Marco. to Chuksakoli. No ball. Across the face of the penalty area to Monk. Laid off by McDonald. Taken down by Lamidi. Now Graves. Palace hunting an equaliser here. The ball came in from McCauley on the right-hand side. They've won the throw-in. Committed plenty of bodies forward there, Palace. Still going for this. And Dylan Monk sent out there to try and launch this one in towards the near post. Drops to Graves. Sat up nicely for him. Just couldn't get over the top of it. And that one's over the crossbar. You see what Monk was trying to do, looking for the flicker at the near post. Forces the defenders into that header, and they can never really generate much power. That's where the likes of Graves was lurking. If you could keep that down, fire it into the legs in front of him, might have been a different story. Bullen. Well, off Lamidi. And Norwich in no rush. Oligbo's ball. Won't reach Cooper. Burst free to Martin. And trying to slide it through here to Lamidi. Hacked away by Bullen. Lee just overhit the pass forward. Almost got in each other's way there, Jaden McDonald and Jamal Lee. There's Monk tight to Hugo Collins. Couldn't wrestle the ball free though for Crystal Palace. And now space on that left-hand side. Monk in the way. And Norwich unable to capitalise. That was Luke Chukwu down that left flank for the Canaries. Well, Norwich's second came from a set piece. And Palace do a little bit better this time. It's away by Monk. Nodded back in there by Cooper. Collins can turn. Away by Greaves. Hooked back into the penalty area by Sinclair Brown. Speroni thought about coming and then retreated quickly. There's Greaves on the far side. Haven't got rid of the danger yet, Crystal Palace. Dancing feet by Chukwu. Greaves won it back, but only temporarily. Here's Chukwu again. That's a good challenge from Greaves, sliding in. And it's only a throw-in as well. We certainly brought something since coming off the bench. The Palace defender. On another day, it might be on the score sheet as well. or at the very least with an assist to his name.
With the ball, use the rollout to put balls in behind from there. On the right.
Speroni spots up the goal kick. Monk. Palace struggling to keep it at the moment. Struggling to get the ball at the moment. As Monk's lost a shin pad as he went flying to make contact with that one. Hugo Collins got on the end of it, and he's won inside a corner. This one will go short. Back to Collins. Flash towards the back post. Oh, it's clear the danger. Maybe another chance for Norwich. Trundles all the way across the 6-yard box. And took a little touch off a Palace player on the way through. So Norwich with another corner as we head towards the 90th minute.
Let's go! Come on!
There'll be a little bit of encouragement from the academy colleagues making their way past Iago Speroni's goal just away to our right as we move into the 90th minute. And it's away by Okoli. Back in there by Augusto, but an overhit pass which will bounce over the byline. Speroni in a hurry to go and collect that as Palace continue to chase the game. Collins for Norwich. Gets past Monk. Held up by Dylan Monk was Hugo Collins. Norwich wanted a free kick. It was strong play from the Palace defender though. It's given away though just on the edge of the penalty area there. And now with Ruben Cooper, left-footed ball into the penalty area, and the flicked header will beat Thiago Speroni. Not much more he could do about that, you know. And it's Hugo Collins with a delicate header, with a goal that will surely seal the win for Norwich City. Was just given away on the edge of the box by Chuksakoli. And then Cooper swung it in left-footed. The angle was always going to help Hugo Collins, who rose just the faintest of little touches. A glancing header helped it on its way. And Norwich increased their lead to 2 goals. Well, really puts into perspective those misses in the first half. They've proved to be a little bit costly for Javier Alonso's Eagles. It's Lee. Greaves trying to find McDonald. It's away again by the very solid Augusto at the near post. As you can see, we are into added time here now. He tried to put himself about a bit and forced maybe a mistake. Bounces off Cooper, he's in an offside position. It's long from Monk, looking for Martin. Lamidi with the throw in towards McDonald. Lashed away again by Samuel Augusto. Turned back by Bull to Speroni. Clears it under pressure. Okpiabele finds a colleague. Well, this has been Palace's problem in the second half. They've just not really been able to get to grips with the ball. And they've looked after it well, the Canaries, especially in this second half. There's Kyan Fraser-Williams. Spins it back to Speroni. Kept his cool there, the goalkeeper. A ball over the top for Jaden McDonald to try and chase. Maxwell Adedeji got there first. Here's Hugo Bull. Graves. Okoli. Bonsu Marco. And a ball to no one in particular. Henry Bullen has it at his feet. The referee with a check of the watch. McDonald's layoff. Looked for Lee. The referee brings it to an end.